Welcome to this week's edition of Coach Prep. Coach Don and I are here in the Cherokee Batting Range podcast studio getting ready to record episode number 118. Before we get into the topic, which is going to be coaches and things that you should be doing to improve yourself over this downtime over the holidays, let's talk about our sponsors. First, the Anderson Bat Company. Everything Fast Pitch is very proud to have Anderson Bat Company as our presenting sponsor. Anderson Bat Company is using the latest and greatest bat technology to corner the market in the fast pitch world. They have the -9 Rocket Tech, the -10 Carbon, and the -11 Carbon Light. Anderson Bat Company is using this technology to put a high-performing bat in the hands of hitters that really know the difference between a good bat and a great bat. We're also working with Anderson to provide a discount for all of our listeners. Go to the Anderson Bat Company website and order your bats. Use the EFP20 discount, which is for everything fast pitch, and you'll get a 20% discount. It's a great way for you to save a little bit of money on a great bat and also help support everything fast pitch at the same time. And please make sure you take advantage of that EFP20 discount. It's a great way for you to save in a little bit extra money and certainly help us at the same time. Also, if you're in a position where you could become a patron, we would really appreciate it. I want to say thank you to Steve and Maddox. Steve Maddox became our newest patron this week. Steve, thank you very much. If you believe in what we're doing, if you see value in what we're doing with everything fast pitch and coach prep and want to help support us financially, go to patreon.com/everythingfastpitch. It's all explained to you there. We're talking about $5, $10, or $20 a month, and we certainly do appreciate the support and appreciate the help. So, Don, this time of year, one of the things that is happening is conventions, clinics, coaches' clinics, all different kinds of things are going on. And one of the things that I've had the great pleasure of doing quite a bit in my lifetime is speaking at and doing different coaching clinics. And one of the things that I always loved the most about that was that it gave me an opportunity to sit in the audience and listen to so many other coaches talk about different topics and different things. But one of the things that has struck me a little bit in this last couple of years, and I don't know if it's just another old man barking at the clouds realization, but I keep coming across an awful lot of coaches who seem to have the attitude that they already know everything they need to know, that they're not going to learn anything, they're not going to try to add anything to their set of skills, that they're just fine staying where they're at and just keep doing what they're doing.
No, I know it's kind of interesting to sit back and watch and listen to people as we talk about things here, even on the podcast. Sometimes it helps me to reflect and confirm maybe a notion of why we did something a certain way or why we might want to try and change it a little bit. But yeah, if you're not learning, you're not growing, I think that's kind of what it's all about. And sometimes it's just confirmation that you're already doing things the way you feel confident is best.
The thought that I always come back to is if I'm not getting better, I'm getting worse. If I'm not learning something new, if I'm not broadening my scope more and more, I'm falling behind. And the reality is that opportunities that exist for us to learn, to grow, to gain knowledge and experience as coaches now is so amazingly rich and deep that if we're not doing it, if we're not taking advantage of it, it just says something, I guess, about how committed we really are and how willing we are to really do what it takes to help the kids that we're coaching as much as we possibly can. You know, the NFCA convention is a great opportunity. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to hop on a plane and go to Vegas or San Diego or wherever the convention is every year. But the NFCA convention is a perfect example. You know, the NFCA does coaches clinics all over the country where they put together coaching staffs to come in and speak, you know, where you're going to get to listen to Sue Enquist and Patrick Murphy and Tim Walton and Patty Gasso and just on the list goes of these coaching legends that are, you know, just amazing at what they do. You know, those opportunities are out there all over the place. You know, there's lots of different like state organizations. The Georgia High School Association just did their coaches clinic this past week and had a lot of people that were interested enough and willing to go and learn more about the game. You know, when I was coaching in Wisconsin, and we started the Wisconsin Fast Pitch Coaches Association, and one of the key things that we did was started a coaches clinic that was a huge success and still is a huge success today, where they have almost every coach in the state wants to go and learn some more and take in some new stuff. And so to me, it's important that coaches have the attitude of, if I'm not learning new stuff, if I'm not improving my knowledge base, if I'm not becoming a better coach, I'm becoming a worse coach. And there's really no kind of staying still because the game keeps changing, the players keep changing, the challenges keep changing. And every time something changes, if we're not prepared to handle it, we're certainly not going to be able to do as good a job.
Well, I think for sure all the things that you're saying are important, Tori, and when you're saying changing, the kids are changing. The game might not change a lot, but the way we train for it and the way we present it to the kids and teaching opportunities and techniques that other people are using, if we're not, I mean, I think you're right. We're going to fall behind.
Well, and to me, I've always had an interest in reading and learning and trying to pick up new ideas. One of the things that I've been doing more and more of now is I'll see something on Facebook or I'll see something on YouTube, and it's like all of a sudden I'm 2 hours in down a rabbit hole of how many different videos are there about how to hit this pitch or how to do this with your hands or how to load your body this way or whatever it might be, and I just enjoy it for the sake of learning. But to me, it also strikes me as I've been coaching for almost 45 years now, and I still think I could learn tons of stuff. And there's other people that have been coaching for 4 or 5 years that seem to think they already know everything there is to know. And to me, I think that's just kind of a sad commentary.
To your thought too, if we were sitting watching videos or whatever it might be, we might not agree with all of it, but it would force us into thinking and rationalizing why what we do might be a better approach,
right,
or more comfortable, or give us another way to share the same thing with more kids.
Yeah, well, Don, I think your key point right there is when I'm watching those videos, I do disagree with some stuff.
It makes you think about it.
Sometimes I'll look at it and go, how could I be so stupid that I didn't think of it? Well, how could I not have thought of that's a better way to say it or an easier way to say it? When I first started doing the coaches clinics, I would hear coaches say stuff, well, if I pick up 1 or 2 things, it's worth it to me. If I pick up 1 or 2 things, I'll be a better coach. And I always thought that was, kind of selling yourself short a little bit, because I thought that there was a lot of opportunities to learn a lot more than 1 or 2 things. But for some of us, the key might be, I don't change a fundamental belief in, let's say, hitting, so something that I believe is an absolute. I don't change that, but I hear somebody else explain it a different way. And in that explanation, it helps me explain it better to one more player.
Yeah.
Maybe that one kid that I go through my usual list of sayings and key teaching points and talking points, and you can just tell from the look on their face that they still don't get it. Well, if I watched 1 extra video, if I listened to 1 more coach's presentation, if I do whatever I could to have a little bit more knowledge, then I've got that information available to me, and a way of saying it that makes it make sense for one more player. And honestly, that's really the true test for me of whether the coach's clinic or the watching the YouTube video was really useful. It's not, did I learn 1 new thing, but did I have 1 more tool in the toolbox to help a player learn something?
Yeah. No, I think that's exciting for sure. And again, I'm open-minded and astonished when we do stumble across these things. It's like, wow, that was just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and the point is that we're not always going to agree. We're not always going to look at something else and say, wow, I really, I'm going to scrap everything I've ever known. But I always come back, and we've talked about this, a handful of times, that the most eye-opening thing for me ever in my coaching career was going to the NFCA convention, and the pre-clinic speaker that year, they would do a big half-day event before the convention even started, was Mike Candrea was coming in to teach hitting the way that Arizona taught hitting. And at that point in time, they were just coming off of a national championship. They were one of the 2 teams. It was either them or UCLA was winning the national championship every year. Mike had always had amazing teams with amazing hitters. And I think if you look back at the record book, even still, some of those players from the pre-change days are still leaders in the NCAA record book. Basically, he started his presentation was, well, I know a lot of you came here to listen to me talk about hitting, and I have to admit something.
I'm changing things.
I'm changing things up, and
like,
for a lot of us,
how can the best be changing things?
Yeah,
up?
And for a lot of us, I almost like wanted to no, don't you do it. You don't have to change anything. You're great just the way you are. I wanted to defend what he'd been doing because it was so much of what I was doing.
And I would tell,
and I would tell people all the time that when I first started as a college coach, everything that I talked about hitting with hitters came right from the Mike Candrea VHS coaching school, of watching those videos over and over and over again. So then, to listen to him talk about, well, I've been pretty successful, but guess what? Now that I've really thought about it, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I think I could be doing better, and that if I would teach it this way, would help my players be more successful. It was really an eye-opening thing for somebody that I had always admired. I think is the greatest coach this game's ever seen. And, no matter what you want to say, one of the 5 best coaches that this game has ever seen, no matter who your favorite might be, to be able to stand up in front of, 300 or 400 coaches that all paid big money to listen to him talk about hitting, say, all right, I'm going to explain this stuff to you now, but it's way different than what all of you have seen in my videos. And it's way different than a lot of the stuff that I've been teaching. And then I had the good fortune, after that, to listen to Mike 3 or 4 other times. He came and did that coaches clinic that we helped run in Myrtle Beach. And so 2 or 3 years in a row, I got to listen to him then talk about it again with the new changes and the new things, and kept thinking to myself, but you were winning national championships before. But obviously he saw the light and saw that it was an important thing to change. So if that guy with 8 national championships and gold medals,
successful,
and all that stuff, can look at it and say, okay, maybe there is a better way every once in a while, is kind of I think the measuring stick that we all should be working from. And so whether it's YouTube, whether it's the online different coaching certifications and things like that you can do, if it's your state organization, if it's the NFCA and their regional coaches clinics, or you go to the NFCA convention, whatever it is, coaches, there's about 1,000 different ways that you could learn something new that will help you reach your players better. And our message today is really simple. We have to take advantage of it. We have to be open-minded enough to look for ways that we can improve, and then take those things and then be able to share them with our players. And if we do that, then we're all going to be a whole lot happier and be a whole lot more effective.
No, I think that'll be exciting for sure. And again, I've come across many people that feel like there's nothing left to learn, but that kind of makes me sad too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that the day before I croak, I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, I can't wait to go back to lessons tomorrow, because there's one more thing. This is another way. This is another tool.
We're going to change it up.
So coaches, that's your challenge. Learn more, take advantage of all these opportunities, access this information, and take advantage of it. So make sure you check out our sponsors, Anderson Bat Company. Make sure you go to patreon.com/everythingfastpitch. Become a patron if you can. Again, thanks, Steve Maddox. We really do appreciate you coming on board. Go to fastpitchprep.com, order your Square Cuts training discs, $49.95 a dozen. Let's get them ordered up. We'll get them sent to you right away. And make sure that check out the YouTube channel and the blogs. There's tons and tons of information on the fastpitchprep.com website. So for Coach Don McKinley, our producer Stan Lewis, this is Coach Torrey saying thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again next week.